So his first question, and I'm going to start with this one because this is something that I've have personal experience with and I've thought about a lot in my life. And his question is, how do you feel about women getting Botox? And then the follow-up question he asked, I actually really don't understand. So maybe someone else, he or somebody else could explain this to me. Then he follows by saying, should they get stung by bees instead? I don't get. Maybe there's a joke in that I just totally missed the punchline on. So if somebody can explain the second part of that question to me, please do. But for the first part of the question, I have a lot of thoughts about that. So as far as women getting Botox, this is a big one for me. Like, that has been sort of a mental debate in my head over the years, because on one hand, I really do believe that the best thing a woman can do is try to love as much of her natural self as she could. I really don't see as a whole, I don't see the good in the cosmetic surgery business. You know what I mean? Breast implants, plastic surgeries, that kind of thing. And I understand it's a complex issue. Like, it's not all bad. And I understand one of the things that makes this issue complex is that there are certain things we do that are socially acceptable, that are cosmetic, that no one even thinks twice about. Like, for example, braces, right? People get braces all the time for cosmetic reasons. And I don't think anybody would ever accuse that person of being shallow in any kind of way, because it's just such a normal thing that we do as a society, right? I mean, and some people could argue that it's not just cosmetic, the reasons why people get braces, because some people will say that it'll actually help your bite and it'll avoid you from getting TMJ. You know, so there could actually be medical reasons to get braces. But I would say for the most part, people get braces mostly for cosmetic reasons, and no one thinks twice about it, you know? And I mean, like, people wear makeup. I'm wearing makeup right now. I have a gig tonight in Woodbridge for Mardi Gras. I'm playing keyboard. So, like, I'm wearing makeup to enhance my facial features so I feel more confident on stage. You know, like, people dye their hair. Like, people do all kinds of things. So that's why I feel like this is a complex issue, because I don't want to label the beauty industry as just toxic and bad, because it's more complicated than that. However, I do think that overall it is better for women to try to love themselves in their natural form as much as possible. With that being said, I'm a hypocrite because I have gotten Botox. And it's funny to me because there was a time in my life, like I would say 3 or 4 years ago, where I started to become very self-critical of my physical appearance on camera, because, you know, I started podcasting and I started putting out music clips and I started, doing stand-up comedy. And because of that, I was just seeing myself a lot more. Like, I was seeing myself on camera more. I was seeing myself, like, photos that people took of me and then tagged me on Instagram that I didn't even know they did. So to me, it was like always, once I started having to be confronted with my own image on a regular basis, it really got me thinking. Like, it got the wheels turning in my head about this kind of stuff. And I really almost to a way I suffered over this. Like, I was very conflicted in my own spirit over this, because as much as I was like, no, I want to love myself exactly the way I am, I still ended up getting Botox because for whatever reason, and I don't know why, I have never been comfortable with wrinkles on my face, not with other people. And like, that's the funny thing is, well, first of all, for men, I feel like an aged man with wrinkles for some reason comes across, especially if it's like a well-dressed man and like, a very wise man. For some reason, seeing, like, I have a lot of male idols that I look up to that are older and wrinkly, and for some reason on them, their wrinkles look so badass to me. I'm like, oh, this is a representation of a man. Like, he is wise, and his wrinkles are just like a representation of his life story. Like, so for example, if a man has those 11 lines or whatever, to me, that's just like, oh, he's done a lot of thinking in his life, and that's where those wrinkles come from. But for some reason, I've never been able to apply that to myself. I've always been incredibly insecure about wrinkling. It's like one of the biggest things that I struggle to get over. So as far as Botox goes, I I will say this, I would prefer to get to a place where I didn't feel like I needed to get Botox to feel confident about myself. Like if there was a way for me to love and accept my wrinkles, I would choose that. I'm not there yet. So I have gotten Botox. I don't have it right now because if for those of you who don't know, Botox only lasts about like 3 to 4 months, depending on your metabolism. Apparently, if you have a fast metabolism, the Botox gets out of your system quicker. So I actually have a pretty fast metabolism, I guess, because I work out and also because I'm just like a hyperactive kind of person. Like if you can't tell by how fast I talk. So for me, like Botox doesn't last very long. So right now I actually don't have it. I'm natural. But I don't know. Like I guess personally where I draw the line is with these cosmetic procedures is I'm okay with doing things to enhance what I look like naturally. So for example, like if I were to get highlights right in my hair, I don't want to get like bright red or bright blonde highlights because I feel like that changes who I am. I'm a brunette. So, I might get very subtle highlights that complement my brunette face. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get a nose job. I don't want to get a boob job. Like at one point I actually wanted to do those types of things. Like I wanted to get a boob job. And then I finally came to a conclusion that I would much rather just find love and compassion for the body type I was born with. You know what I mean? But so again, where I draw the line personally is I'll do things that enhance the way I look naturally. So I've always been like, all right, well, Botox isn't really changing who I am. It's just preserving who I am, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm like, it's not like I'm not doing things to my face to make my face look completely different. Like I'm not getting filler to make my cheeks look bigger. Or I'm not doing things like that to actually change the structure of my face. I'm just preserving the face that I had. And that's like how I mentally talk myself into it. But again, like I said, just because I do that, I don't necessarily buy that is the right thing to do. I think I would prefer to get to a place in life where I am totally okay with my wrinkles, and to prefer to get to myself to a place where I can view myself as a wise, intelligent woman, like the way that I view men with wrinkles. Like when I see an older man with wrinkles, I'm like, he is a wise, intelligent man who's had a history. I want to see myself that way as I age, and right now I don't. So honest confession about that. Yeah, so I don't know. That's all I have to say about that is I guess it's okay to get Botox, but I would prefer to like find a way to not have to do that, and that's something I'm working on. And by the way, like I said, I don't have the Botox right now. So I'm currently dealing with this right now. One thing I do with that is I use a ring light. So like right now there's like a white light shining on my face, which masks the wrinkles I have. And like you see women on Instagram using filters, like the more heavily the filter, the more she's insecure about her wrinkles. That's where that's coming from. But I don't know, it's something I'm working on, and I want to be more open to just like exposing myself exactly how I am, and like needing less beauty lights and more just an authentic me, you know what I mean? But it's a work in progress, so that's where I'm at with that. But that's a good question. The follow-up question about how do you or should they get stung by bees instead? I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Is that a thing? Like somebody explain that to me. Is that a thing where women are getting stung by bees to use as a form of Botox? I don't know. Okay, so you can explain that to me. Okay, next question.